So as a psychologist, how does that work when you're trying to filter someone else's lived experience against your clinical understanding of the diagnosis?
So, I mean, we're looking at, taking a good history. I think this is the big piece, is that trauma is something we acquire. Trauma happens to us, essentially, if we're really going to act like they're completely separate. And we're going to be born with autism for whatever reasons, a neurodevelopmental disorder, essentially, right? So how does it, is it an onset, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of, I think what we still don't know yet about all of the factors, but it seems to be largely genetic. And so, we're going to have these things where it's not just like the trauma happened and then we have responses to the trauma. So I always talk about, I think I just made a video talking about, let's say you have sensory sensitivities, and you're traumatized, and specifically around coffee. And it happens to be that when you were harmed, the person was always making coffee in the morning. And the smell of coffee is repulsive, right? Like you have a strong reaction. But when you have something like a lifelong challenge, it's going to be more about everything related to smells. It's not necessarily going to be specific. And so I think that's where these nuances can get difficult, and trying to understand, I didn't like the tights when I was little and I had these issues in class and I had a trail of broken friendships. So we really want to understand, it's not just like, how's your life been in the last few years? For me, if I'm looking at what's really going on here in terms of autism or trauma, I want to understand a history, and that has to be taken sometimes over time, because people, traumatizing to give your history. And we're learning more about that as clinicians. Like, maybe we shouldn't start a therapy this way. At the same time, people often want to come in. I will get the most beautiful emails from autistic people I can tell like that. It is like a 7-paragraph email. And it has everything. And I already give out, I have the ACEs, I have massive questions. It's like I have to read for an hour and a half before I see them. Just that alone, it's like they want to be understood. I feel like so many of us have not been, and the way the brain works, it's like, here's the suitcase of like this stuff, but it's really helpful in diagnosing.